You hate your supervisor, but you love your partner. You love your partner because your partner accepts you, but yet and still you work harder for your supervisor and you hate him. Your supervisor give you tasks, you show him your task. I did your task to the highest level of could be done for. Are you happy now? Type energy. And all you did was come around your husband in some leggings and a bonnet. You went to work, you put on makeup, you took a bath, you brushed your teeth, you put on an outfit. You get around your husband, you throw on that same old t-shirt, bonnet, take your makeup off. You like, I love you and I can finally be myself. At the conscious level, at the physical level, because men aren't creeps and men aren't assholes, they say, okay, I can accept you. And yeah, I can tolerate it. I can accept it. I can accept it. I can accept it. Day in, day out, to the point that you might equate acceptance with value and like and subconscious drives. And acceptance is because I love you and I can tolerate it. But when your subconscious or your shadow comes in, it eats that shit that you accepted. And then it's like, why you always coming around me with a bonnet on and leggings? Why don't you ever get dressed up?
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
You are now tapped in with the Hood Mystic. Your favorite astrologer's favorite astrologer. Time to tap in now.
You are now tapped in.
Thin line between love and hate, and it's also a thin line between Venus and Pluto. So watch this energy this week, because a subconscious drive and a conscious mentality is two different things. As you can see, Venus is one level, Pluto is a whole different level, and trying to understand both of these levels is going to be, it's easy to get into once you are able to see it. But if you didn't even expect it, like you not even got your Inspector Gadget eyes open, like to even be like, all right, what is your subconscious drives? Then like when you younger, right? And this is only from, I can speak from like maturity. When I was younger, I didn't even notice it. But you know, when you younger, certain women won't give you the time of day, and you like, well, I wonder why she didn't give me no play. But I think women can sense what your drive is based upon your conversation. It just comes up, because it's like, you know, sex, right? I want to have sex with this person, but I can try to fake and do all of these things that I'm thinking that you know, Mac Daddy smooth, but a perceptible woman can say, oh, he just wants to fuck. So either I want to fuck and I'll play into it, or I don't want to fuck and I'll just stop talking to him completely. Now, when you mature and come into your wisdom, you begin to communicate more clearly, more direct, because your subconscious drive might be in alignment with your conscious drive. And it's like, I want to start a business with you. I want to grow with you. You know what I'm saying? You know, you just have these conversations that are more pure and more stimulating, versus if you're disconnected to your drive. If your drive is, I want to have sex with this woman, and you're just consciously just like going off, you know, bullshit, then y'all might connect from a drive point, but ultimately, you know, the relationship will be that. You know what I'm saying? Say for instance, consciously you're like, well, I want to be in a relationship with you, but the drive is I just want to have sex, and her drive is I just want to have sex. But consciously y'all not communicating in the space where I just want to have sex, but y'all communicating in we need to be in a relationship and we need to do this and we need to do that. Y'all get into the relationship, have sex, and then you get into a space where it's like, damn, what the fuck did we say all of this bullshit for? Why did we go through all of these types of things when the reality is that all we wanted to do is just fuck each other? Like, why can't we just say, I just want to fuck, right? Because Venus is never aligned with Pluto, meaning our subjective and our subconscious are never in the same space. We always want to pussyfoot around the point and ultimately don't do anything but damage ourselves. So Venus conjunct Pluto into this energy of Capricorn represents change. But if you look deeper into these cards, which these cards represent the first decan of Capricorn, you get a certain type of symbolism where it's like, all right, one, you don't want to waste time, and two, you want to look at the whole list. You want to look at everything, right? Having a conversation on your subconscious drives, like what drives you, what motivates you. And ultimately, what you'll notice is that if a person isn't forced to think about these things, then they have no fucking clue. This is why the subconscious and the shadow work becomes to be the most important aspect within a relationship. Because a person might have even had a goal, right, to just get up in there, right? And once they got up on there, they ain't never think beyond, you know, like, all right, what are we going to do now? We in this relationship? What's our goals? What are goals? I'm just here, right? I'm just here. Hey, I'm just here. I'm your baby daddy now. So what you mean goals? What you mean direction? Look, I'm just about to just be here. You know, just call me when you need me type shit. And it's like, wait a second. We need a direction. We need something that says we are in this thing together. Because what will tend to happen is not now. But long story short, I've seen this in experience. You ain't gonna know who that person is 5 years from now. So why play the game? Why do things acting like we gonna be together and we're not even connecting at a subconscious level? So what Venus conjunct Pluto would like to do is to show you who's down for you and who's not down for you. So the number one aspect of this card or this deacon is change. And so change is good. Change is natural. Change happens at all levels of existence. Now, are your emotions in aligned with the changes? And the way that you determine how your emotions are is, you know, doing the shadow work, doing the journaling, because you're not just like, your subconscious is running this shit. And if you're consciously trying to like bulldoze your way through life, bulldoze your way, like, oh, I get readings, I get money, I'm in relationships, that's the end of it. No, you have to do this deep channeling, journaling work, or else you could be the problem in your relationship. You could be the reason for which your readings or your reader don't even hit. Like, you might say, well, you're not a good reader, you're not in tune. But here it is, you don't even know what the fuck you want out of your life. I could be telling you everything you need from the gospel to the goddamn revelations, and if you get off the call with me and start fucking smoking crack, dealing with, you know, who you dealing with, then what is the point of you telling me I'm a good reader or a bad reader? The most important part of this whole entire game, whoever you get a reading from, whoever you having sex with, however much money you making, is, are you in tune with your unconscious and your subconscious? Can you differentiate between your unconscious and your subconscious? Are you completely tuned in and tapped into the conscious and the physical and just hoping that it works out? Well, your basis of your pyramid is going to be completely out of whack. So what's the difference between unconscious and subconscious? Unconscious are the deep archetypal drives that we unconsciously seek to actualize in life. Drives for self-actualization, universal meaning, soulmate, gender role, parental roles, etc. Subconscious are the fears of loss and abandonment, drives of love and belonging, the hurt and rejected child within, acted upon but not normally conscious of. How does that translate for me is people that are in relationships with no skills to handle the relationship, because the reality of their life is that they are a wounded child. Now, a wounded child, you might feel sorry for a wounded child, but that wounded child cannot benefit you. Now, let's take a back, let's look at this thing from, let's just look at lives and relationships, and then look at this man and this woman over here getting in this divorce and he giving up all his money, or, all of the men that's in child support cases and this, yeah, you need dick discipline on one, but the reason that you need dick discipline is because these women will take advantage of you if you don't have dick discipline. And it's not to be bashing on nobody, it's just the reality. If a rejected child is not going to help you, she may look physically, consciously, like she is on your team, on your side, right? But the most important part of subconscious is that a person is not normally conscious of it. So when I start to say, well, I want to be my authentic self within this relationship, you know what happens? A woman is going to get triggered and say, oh no, you cheated on me. You did this thing to me. And no, what has happened is that the parts of you that wasn't healed are coming to the surface. And instead of healing, you're going to get on a horse and run away. And what did we say earlier? Running away is not healing a situation. It's simply running away and allowing that wounded child to stay wounded. So how do you heal the subconscious and unconscious? You have to develop, and I got an actual prompt in the shadow workbook, where you start to journal how you love yourself at an intimate level. Because if you don't love yourself at an intimate level, there is no way that you can love your partner at an intimate level, because life don't work like that. Because physically and consciously, a person will have sex with you. They'll have sex with you 10 times, 7 days out the week, and never solve the subconscious and unconscious work. And just because you having sex, just because you in a relationship, just because y'all share keys and split the rent, or he pay all of the rent and you live rent free, whatever the situation occurs in your relationship, have y'all done the subconscious work? Because if y'all haven't, it's not going to take care of itself. Why? Because the subconscious, you're not normally conscious of it. And if everything is working as you want it to, perfectly fine. But then when the troubles happen, when the triggers happen, now this is who you really dealing with. This is who you really dealing with. And as a man, you gotta know that you do not get into a relationship with a woman without having an aspect of your being that is a healer. Like, you can be mad at me for what I'm saying, or you can understand what I'm saying. most of y'all is hurt little girls based upon the fact that your daddy is your daddy. Your daddy got some pussy one day. He didn't figure out, okay, I'm supposed to heal my wife and I'm supposed to heal my daughter. I'm supposed to give them this protection. No, he got some ass one day. A very small percentage of men in the population in the 80s and 90s was fucking awakened to their spiritual heritage and spiritual energy. At best, they took care of their households. At normalcy and at worst, they got some pussy that they really should have never got. So since, you got that, and trust me, you could be a man that took care of his wife and took care of his kids, and your daughter still got abandonment issues. Because we are not normally conscious of these subconscious areas. And to have a psychological hold on life, it takes a lot of studying. It takes a lot of peer-reviewed notes. You got to really dig deep. And I say all of this to say most men trying to deal with the fucking rent and deal with everyday life, niggas don't got time to be reading peer-reviewed articles and studies. Therefore, they don't have the time to say, you know what? Let me address my child and my wife's inner child. Because the reason that they act in the way that they acting has everything to do with me, and because I'm the symbol of the person that hurt them. As a man, you are the symbol of everything wrong. You're probably not the one who did it, but as a symbol, it's like if I'm walking down the alley at night and it's like an old lady walking and I'm the person that they afraid of. So I could either play into that or I can make it to be like, hey, how you guys doing? Wonderful night we having tonight, isn't it? Right? Because I know psychologically that they are afraid of me. At an unconscious level, at a subconscious level, they're not normally conscious of the fact that, hey, this black man is bigger and stronger than me. I got way more money than him. So he could probably be mad at me because I got more money than him and probably rob me and take my money and process it all this in their mind or in their subconscious mind, and it just all come to a surface as we walk in each other in a dark alley. Now that could make a person want to do something to me who don't even know me, but because I'm a symbol, everything comes to the surface. So if you're not psychologically sound, you could look at that situation like, oh, why are you afraid of me? I ain't do nothing to you, this, that, and the third, which most people do. So I'm giving y'all a scenario. I'm giving y'all a whole layout of how our subconscious and our unconscious areas rule our life. So the reason that you're not successful in your relationship is because you have not done the work to heal that part of you. That little girl within you is still hurt. And because you got a fat ass, because you got good pussy, and you know that niggas is weak for a fat ass and good pussy, or whatever you offering within your relationship, you use that as an excuse not to do the work. But then when Venus conjunct Pluto and all of this shit comes to the surface, it's starting to point fingers. And all of this, all this type of energy, when all you had to do was really get into your subconscious and unconscious bag and get into the nitty gritty drive, because 10 times out of 10, what drives a man out of the relationship is not being thanked, not being appreciated. This is a question that I always pose for people, and I never have gotten an answer. If y'all got an answer, please light up my comments with it, because this would, bring a joy to my heart. What is the benefit for a good man? Like, what does a good man get? Like, right off the rip, you know what I'm saying? Because generally, if I was a horrible man, you got A, B, C. I'm gonna call the cops on your ass. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna scream. I'm gonna tell everybody that you ain't shit. The whole gamut of what happens when I never see the opposite for just a normal, regular dude. Because the normal, regular energy, there is no place for that for a person who isn't trauma at a subconscious and unconscious level. Meaning that we're so disconnected to our subconscious and unconscious level, we haven't even created the conversation beyond how we treat a normal guy or a good guy just in regular conversation. There is no real output for being good. There's only a recourse for when you are bad, when you are triggering. And even deeper, when we get into the spiritual shit, I don't owe y'all niggas a damn thing. Just because I decided to talk about spiritual shit. And it's real easy for a person to be like, well, I don't like you. I don't like this. I don't like that. 2022, I'm letting you know that there's no way that you can like me or love me, because in reference to anything, you haven't dealt with your inner child. You don't even know what you like or love. You still waiting for something bad to happen. So people will subscribe to my channel, come in my DMs, befriend me, and then wait on bated breath for the moment for which they can say, you know what, Hood, I don't like that. I can't even fuck with you no more, Hood. I can't even, cause now I'm saying the shit, cause 2022, I'm changing the topic in the way that I'm going into pure comedy. Meaning that I'm going straight for your woundedness. Because your woundedness has no place in growth and development. As black men, we can see the woundedness. And I'm not talking about the lowlifes. Because black men don't even fuck with the lowlife energy. Like, we been not fucking with lowlife. So when you start to deal with the reality of a relationship and being a good man, the next threshold is, what happens when I'm a good man? Because we can talk about like all of the conversations about what happens when you do alchemy, where you turn your goodness into greatness, and now we have to be great together. At a subconscious and unconscious level, because what you will try to do is at a conscious level, at a feeling level, all of these types of things, you will be a good man. And a real good man also knows that that's not enough. When you are serious about your relationships, you are also serious about healing your wife's inner child. Let me tell you why. Because in 2021, when you meet a girl, she's not going to be a virgin. She's not going to be a virgin. She done got fucked real good. Had wonderful sexual experiences that you won't even come close to. She's also been hurt at a deep level by these men, at a level that you will never even hurt. You will never do the things that these previous men have done to her. However, she has the scars. And when you say, you know what, I'm going to marry this woman, you also say, I'm going to have to heal this woman too. Or else, all right, so say for instance, you say, all right, I don't have to heal this woman. Then when you just a good man like you is, a good man like you always been, what tends to happen is that energy start to come up. Negative, she start giving you her ass to kiss and it don't add up. And then if you ever was to have the conversation, all of the time that you was putting in and being selfless, it wasn't never adding up to let me be grateful for this experience. It could be something as simple as, the times that you was going to work, I thought you was cheating on me. Okay. Just checking something. So the times that, I thought that you were, just misperceiving the whole entire situation because y'all never having these conversations in reference to what happened between you and your dad. Like, what happened between you and your dad? What was the moment that you had this expectation of this perfect person in that moment that he didn't live up to it? Now, the reality is that your dad, there was never no script written that said your dad had to be the person that you expected him to be. And the amount of woundedness that you accepted based upon your expectation is the amount of healing work that you need to take care of, sis. Because your dad don't really owe you shit. He gave you what he was supposed to give you, which is life. So other than that, and he probably was a decent enough type dude, or maybe he was horrible. Give or take, right? But if your dad was great, you still got work to do. If your dad was horrible, you still have work to do. Where does the work lie in healing? It lies in your ability to expect from a man. And then, so you expect your dad to be perfect, golden man of bronze, save the day. Then you get into a relationship with little old me. Guess what, fellas? She wants you to be the most amazing man in the world, and your ass be out here trying to be that. And then you get home after trying to be the best man that you can be. Still, there is no point of you've done it. Because the goal was to heal the situation, not fulfill an expectation. When you get into a relationship, Venus conjunct Pluto, you are there to meet her drives. So subconsciously, she hoping that you are going to fulfill this need that she has to have. As a psychological healing man, you have to go into the situation saying, I know what you think I'm going to do. I know you think it's what you envision that this life is going to be, but what part of you hasn't been healed yet? And of course, you can get therapy. You can see a psychologist and pay all of this money. But the person that you with, a majority of time that you're going to spend your life with, that you're going to be absorbing their fluids, why can't y'all begin to heal each other at a psychological level? Why can't you understand that this person is only acting out of hurt, acting out of ignorance, acting out of society, telling them one thing and that being completely wrong. And now they have an opportunity to heal. And the only way to truly heal is in a masculine, feminine based relationship. Because within that masculine energy, boy, you are the symbol for all types of bullshit that you ain't never ever done. But if you get the opportunity to be in a relationship with a woman, you can show her every day that no, masculine is not that, it is this. Masculine is not going to hurt you, it's going to help you. Masculine is not going to lead you astray, it's going to lead you in the right direction. Masculine is something that you can trust in. And if you can create this positive archetype of what masculine energy is for you personally, then you are actually healing within your relationship. Because a majority of men are going to get with your wife and fuck the shit out of your wife and tell her dubs, pieces, deuces. And them abandonment issues is going to increase tenfold, because here she is sharing herself, and then that man's going to abandon her. Now you gotta get into a relationship and show her that this is not what it's about. Most people ain't strong enough to really get into the minutia and the nitty-gritty of relationships, and this is why 50% of marriages end in divorce. Because you can, like, it is so difficult to have expectations in a relationship. It's so easy when you get into a relationship and saying, I am here to heal. I am here to heal. And it's even more powerful if the man says, I am going to heal. And it's even more powerful if the woman says, I am here to heal this man. I'm here to show him that, no, I'm not going to just use his energy. I'm going to show him that this is how healed love looks. I'm not going to just give him wounded energy and make him be the solver of all my problems. I'm going to give him and pour into him as just as he pours into me. And Venus conjunct Pluto can be a beautiful experience for you. 10 times out of 10 though, if it's woundedness there and you haven't sat with your woundedness, you haven't done no shadow work, you just kept showing your titties on Instagram, you kept showing your ass on Instagram, you kept seducing men into wanting to have sex with you, as opposed to inviting them to heal and inviting them to sit down and heal with you, then you are the inviter to your own trauma. Cause I be on Instagram like everybody else. Like, she know what she doing with them damn videos on them stories showing them titties like that. It's like you putting a fucking piece of salmon in front of a bear, a grizzly bear. You can't be mad at the grizzly bear for now wanting to eat that piece of meat. At a subconscious level, I think about it in myself. There's probably a part of me that will take over that I probably don't even have a conscious mind of in relation to a sexual situation. So for me, I got to put myself in cages. We can only meet in public places. Because you might do some shit. I heard about one situation where a person was wearing a cat suit, and, you know, you wear that cat suit around me, I might, you know, turn into a tiger. I thought I was trained. I thought I was tamed, but now you walking around, meow. Like, you feel me? And so we got to really get into, if you're in a relationship, a serious relationship, and you arguing with your lover, you traumatized with your lover, and you going through shit in your relationships, y'all got to start focusing more on relating and more on healing each other, because the anger, the triggers, and the emotions are the parts of the person that you love that aren't healed. The beautiful part about a relationship is that y'all can become doctors amongst each other. Y'all can become healers amongst each other. You're supposed to heal your wife. She's supposed to heal you. Period. If you can't heal each other in your relationship, if things come to the surface and you want to run, you don't deserve that woman in your life. You don't deserve that man in your life. Y'all gotta look at, where do you feel abandoned? Why do you feel these? Like, it should be psychological conversations happening all the time between you and your partner. If it ain't, then that person is expecting the most in the world out of you, and you trying to live up to that shit. Guess what's gonna happen? When it crash, it's gonna crash, right? And now y'all gonna be looking at each other silly, looking at each other, weird. The subconscious is ahead of the conscious, and we never know what really drives us. We never know what really drives us. So Venus conjuncts Pluto exact on December 25th, where y'all think Santa gonna come down sliding down y'all Trinity. Y'all might see Santa Claus, Miss Santa Claus, come sliding down the goddamn stripper pole, right? You might be waking up in the goddamn stripper place, because now you getting in tune with your real drives, and that inner whole energy gonna come out, right? And hopefully, your partner, it's like a role play. Like, can you role play in your relationships? Can you really get into a space where this is who I'm authentically am? And I've read a lot of books. I don't know this to be a fact, but every woman has a secret whole-like energy within her. Is she tapped in and tuned into it? It's different levels for each and every woman. So, I don't view it as like whole energy is bad energy, personally. If it wasn't for whole energy, I wouldn't even be here talking to you. It's the hoes are the real healers, the Pombagiras, and the ones who have an understanding of her sexual energy and able to, stand in that and understand that my sexual energy is a healing energy. So if you are a stripper or if you a sex worker, you doing more healing than the MDs and the doctors, because let me tell you, a man who is doing everything that he's supposed to do for his family and got an extra money on the side, guess where they be at? Where do the men be at once they took care of their business, took care of their home, wife at home, dinner cooked, all that, kids asleep, tucked in? All right, babe, I'll see you later. I'm about to go out. Be up at the strip club looking at Tatalicious. Why? Because a man views a woman as a reward. That's the reward for you taking care of your shit. Now, if you can offer this within your relationship, you good to go. But 10 times out of 10, you feel like you can't be your true host self in your partnership, but your partner secretly, subconsciously, you look down his Instagram face and it's just a whole bunch of ass and strippers. Where's the clear heels at? And it's like, okay, you going to have to learn about this type of energy if you're in a relationship, because that's our reward. We don't want a hoe per se. We want our wives to be our hoe. But not everybody. We don't want our wives to be a hoe. We want our wife to be our hoe. Ho, ho, ho. We want our wives to be sexual and free sexually and in tune with herself sexually, to know that, she is a sexual goddess. She is sexually desired by, we want that. So Venus conjunct Pluto energy, can you allow the Pombagira energy to transform you and bring out that whole energy in your relationships without it causing any tension? where it's a fun, free expression. It could lead to growth and development. It can lead to healing. The next time you give your husband some pussy, don't just give him no pussy, give him some healing. How are you going to heal your husband? With your pussy. Like, for real? And it's like, well, you only thinking about sex. No, I done put money on this shit. I done put time, energy. I done drop all my other girls for you. You all I want. You all I desire. Now, can you be my present? Can you be my gift? Right? Can you be my reward for my loyalty, for my faithfulness? And these is how we be reciprocal in our relationships. Or I'm giving y'all the solution. I'm giving y'all what could possibly happen if you can understand this energy holistically. For a majority of people, they just going to be fucking, right? They just going to be out, like, you know what I'm saying? Just doing them, and they never going to get into a space where I didn't have to run away from my relationship. I didn't have to cheat on my partner. I didn't have to abandon my family. I could have just alchemized the energy and created a whole deeper, like, it's like, well, your husband is sad and all you doing is overeating, not working out, just being who you are, right? Because who you feel like being. And at the same time, it's like, damn, your husband got eyes. Your husband have a mind and a heart that you can't ignore. Every man has this sexual energy, and it's like, okay, he gonna get this pussy, he gonna be in this relationship, he just gonna take care of me, and that's the end of the story, and I don't gotta do shit for him. That's where Santa is creeping and crawling and looking for the ho-ho-hos. Because at the end of the day, subconsciously, at the deeper levels, it just don't work like that. You can't get into a relationship and say, take me as I am. Play Mary J. Blige, take me as I am. A relationship is not that. A relationship is an elevation. It is a growth. It is a choice. It is effort. It's constantly putting your best foot forward. And if you can honestly step in that energy, great. But what tends to happen is Venus conjunct Pluto, you get a result. Are you righteous in the love that you have for your partner based upon your growth and development, and saying, like, do you look at your partner like you look at your supervisor? You hate your supervisor, but you love your partner. You love your partner because your partner accepts you, but yet and still you work harder for your supervisor and you hate him. Your supervisor give you tasks, you show him your task. I did your task to the highest level of could be done for. Are you happy now? Type energy. And all you did was come around your husband in some leggings and a bonnet. You went to work, you put on makeup, you took a bath, you brushed your teeth, you put on an outfit. You get around your husband, you throw on that same old t-shirt, bonnet, take your makeup off, and you're like, I love you, and I can finally be myself. At the conscious level, at the physical level, because men aren't creeps and men aren't assholes, they say, okay, I can accept you. And yeah, I can tolerate it. I can accept it. I can accept it. I can accept it. Day in, day out, to the point that you might equate acceptance with value and like and subconscious drives. And acceptance is because I love you and I can tolerate it. But when your subconscious or your shadow comes in, it eats that shit that you accepted. And then it's like, why you always coming around me with a bonnet on and leggings? Why don't you ever get dressed up? And it's like, well, I thought you liked it when I never said that. I just accepted it. Right? So Venus going through this retrograde could be very easily you saying, okay, let me absolve all accountability for who I am as a person, or learning to transform and level up and really love yourself, really love your relationships, and not say, okay, I cannot go into I can't go into a situation in life where I'm bettering myself and then treat the person that I quote unquote love with no respect. If I respect him, if I view him, I can't look at my supervisor and dress up and go to work and subconsciously say, I love my job more than I love my husband. Can't do that. You gotta really say, all right, let me give this energy, let me give this man the same respect that I give my job. Meaning that, oh, I gotta put effort into this relationship. I gotta go the extra mile for this man. And it's easy to do that, sis, if you have healed your abandonment issues. If you have healed the fact that this man is not your daddy. This man is not your ex-boyfriends. This man is not the strangers that you fucked at the club on the lonely Friday nights, for which it's like for women in sex is like candy and kids. Every time I walk up to my kid with a lollipop and I say, hey, you want a lollipop? My kid is going to accept the lollipop. So if a woman accepts sex from a man, you ain't doing nothing special. It's just you accepting a lollipop. The only thing is, when you get into a relationship, you imagine that all of the times you accepted lollipops is just swept under the rug. If you haven't healed that part of you that wanted fucking sex and random ass sex, then you will shadow project, because the man that you in a relationship with, he won't hold the same frequency as the men that you you had one night stands with. So it's not your partner's issues and work that you need to do work on. It's your work on. Why would you be fucking dudes like that? And then not doing any psychological healing to say that you're not, what I mean by you're not talking about it, you're not embracing it, you're not doing any alchemy around it, you sweeping it under a rug. And when you sweeping it under a rug, now it's like you have no way to heal it. And in relationships, when there is no way to heal these particular things that have happened in the past, we tend to, it's like a energy that is like fight or flight. It's like, well, are we going to work through this, or are we going to just break up? What you will notice is that since most people don't have the tools, and most people aren't doing the chakra work, people aren't doing the shadow work, they're just like, this is too much to handle, so I'm just going to break up with this person. And hopefully the next person that I'm with, they will be able to handle all of this baggage that I'm collecting, right? And it's like, relationships do not work that way, fam. It don't work that way. So do the shadow work in your relationships. Y'all got a whole week to begin to develop a conversation in reference to the parts of you that need to be healed, minus the points where you expecting out of your man the healing that you should be doing your damn self. The type of situations a man or a woman saying, I want a person to take care of me, is also you saying there are parts of me that I haven't healed at a human level that I want this person to take care of me like a child. And the question is, are you a child or are you an adult? Are you a spiritual being? Because then when you are a spiritual being, you understand that the spiritual creates all of this shit. So you can't fake a relationship. You can't fake love. And ultimately what tends to happen is that these systems that are not meant to happen, they break down. And you could be scratching your head about life and like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? I'm trying to be so fake and I'm trying to create these images and these images are crumbling down. Stop being fake. Stop worrying about what people think about you and do the shadow work in your relationship. People can listen to this whole segment on Venus conjunct Pluto and be like, damn, what's happening between Hood Mystic and Mama Mystic? Are they okay? In this whole entire time, I wasn't talking about this. Cause not obviously, but realistically, me and my wife have conversations and my wife has healed me and I've healed her. We are healing each other persistently and conceptually. Our life is based upon healing each other and seeing each other elevate. Now, can I say that about everybody else's relationship? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So please don't look at what I'm saying and be like, well, you must be going through something in your relationship, because contrary to, it's not even about me and my wife. It's really about how you are transforming and how you are healing your inner self so you can be successful in your relationship, so you can be healed in your relationship, so you can heal another person. And not only will you say, I watch Hood Mystic videos or I watch this person videos, but I actually stand in and heal my partner. My partner heals me, and I'm actually existing out here. Because until you are activated within your masculine and feminine principle and standing in that shit, you are trying to get there. And you don't know that you're trying to get there until you get there. And I was just watching something recently, and it's like, every rich man, every powerful man has a wife. I'm going to repeat that. Every rich, powerful man has a wife. You mean in all of this money that a person can get, all of the whole, I got $1 billion, I got millions of dollars, I could buy prostitutes and hookers every single day. I don't never have to tie myself down with a wife, but I choose to. Why? Because that's how life works. You can't be the most powerful man and stand in the shit that you want to stand in as a man and not have a wife by your side. It does not work like that. So when you tune in and tap into spiritual people talking all of that talk, you better check and see if they got a wife holding them down. Because if they don't have a wife holding them down, my personal opinion is disregard whatever the fuck that they saying, because they are not even activated. They're not even tuned in. Like, to start a car, you need a positive and negative charge. And until you get a positive and negative charge, that car don't even fucking start. So don't miss me. I could talk all types of shit before I got married to my wife. And everything that I said before I was married, I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about.